Hello there, once again, it's Anton from Anton Will Bay. Thank you for stopping by the collection room. Today I'm taking a look at some comics, and it is more Ultraverse comics. It's Mantra from Ultraverse. We've looked through 1 through 5, or 1 through 4, and 5 through 8. It's time for 9 through 12, and we'll kind of just take a look and see what's going on with it. Right off the bat, let's get to the year, which is 1994, which is one of the best years. I love 1994. It's just a brilliant year. Everything looking good so far. This looks like very atypical, very normal Malibu Ultraverse art. Just reading a touch of dialogue there. She's like, wow, mommy, you look pretty. Yeah, right. Anyway, what do we got going on? It's hard to describe what Malibu art looks like, but the shading, the hair, the color, this is very, very standard for Malibu. It just has a certain look to it. I don't know why she's hanging out with this lady. Boneyard? Well, my bride. So Boneyard would be, I think, pretty much Mantra's main villain for the most part. I'm not familiar what other villains the book had, but I know there was like a hippie chick and stuff like that. Honestly, it is one of the series I know the least about of any Malibu Ultraverse. I liked the Ultraverse. I loved it. I read tons of it. Mantra was one of the books that I never had all of them until recently. This looks like J.D. Hunt. He just has a look. The only thing I really know about Mantra is that it's an old warrior named Lucas or something, stuck in a woman's body in the present. And so there's the whole fish out of water, but also trapped in the wrong body, hijinks ensue type stuff. Other than that, I'm not terribly familiar what her powers are. Of course, you gotta have all this stuff going on, which, I don't know, seemed cringy and weird at the time, and it probably seems even worse now. With the state of everything going on. But I think originally it was just intended to be, I don't know. Sometimes it's really hard to tell, especially with older books. Was this originally intended to say some sort of weird political message or ideological message? Or was it just a weird story? And then years later, when people have invented these ideological methods and ideas, and then they turn back and apply it to the book retroactively. I've always kind of wondered that. There's been a few books, comics. I'm like, I never saw that. That is not how I would have read that. But then when you get like a modern, oh, well, that's a thing that's going on now. It makes you wonder, was that what they originally intended in the comic, 30 years ago? I doubt it, actually. But you never can tell. You have no idea what's... Oh, this is Elvin. She was kind of gross. She's like a high school girl, like a teenager who turns into this giant, icky sex beast monster. I'm not sure really what they were planning with that. She started out looking really ghastly and hideous, and then later started looking a lot smoother and more attractive, which I don't know that was the right choice to make, considering the age of their character, being basically as old as Prime. who is also just a boy. These are like little intro stories to other characters and other books. Hey, look, it's Warstrike, the worst character ever in Malibu Comics. This book does have some water damage as well. Issue number 11. You got that going on. How quickly we learn. First time I woke up in this useless woman's body after having been a man for 1,500 years, my first reaction was to cover its naked breasts. I suppose it started with Eve. And that kind of dialogue, that's what you got going on. Yeah, for some reason, when I was tracking down all of the Malibu Ultraverse stuff, I didn't have like some of the later issues of stuff were hard to find. When it came to Mantra, most of them were hard to find, especially the later issues. Like, it was just tricky to find the issues, and I don't know if they didn't make as many, if they were shorter runs of the book, if it wasn't as popular. I would say in '94, I have to scratch my head and say, what was the audience for this? Because it's kind of an awkward book. Like, what's the genre? I mean, it's superhero, but it's like, well, it's a man. It thinks like a man, talks like a man. It's in the body of a woman. I don't know. I guess back then, I don't know who it was for. The Strangers. Now there's a much better team. There's a group I can understand. Natural Born Killers. So yeah, I guess Mantra was always just kind of a, I don't know, an odd book to me. And of course, when Marvel bought it and relaunched the title, it was no longer a woman in a man's body, or a man in a woman's body. It literally went to just being like a high school girl, which, I think I enjoyed better. But it's kind of one of the things, Ultraverse did this all the time. Your hero is never just quite what they appear to be. And that's the way it was with Mantra. That is the way it was with Prime. To some degrees, that's the way it was with like Nightman. And it was just like, well, what you come across as this, but you're really this. And, even with like Elvin and stuff like that, where your character looked one way, but was not. And they were actually quite differently on the inside. So maybe they were, I don't know if they were trying to give us some sort of like social commentary or weird messaging, but I know in '94 I never took it that way. I don't know of anybody else who did. We just thought it was an odd book and a fish out of water and a comfortable in your own skin type thing. So, well, anyway, that's Mantra 9 through 12. Appreciate you guys watching. That's pretty much all I got to say about it. Well, catch you guys later. That's my story. Bye.